When changing a condenser fan motor for the condenser outside for your heating and air conditioning, namely your air conditioning, or for that matter, a heat pump, could use actually both the outside and the inside, but or gas furnace, and then the air conditioning on the outside. One tipster when changing the condenser fan motor. Take a pin, something along this lines, and when an individual removes the older unit, and if the condenser fan motor is still in good shape, if the bearings are not shot, and you should hear the bearings, if the bearings are bad, it should make a continuous kind of a clunking, flopping kind of a metal-esque kind of sound. But if all things are being equal and you're upgrading, or if the condenser fan motor, or for some reason, say for instance, you one had installed a new condenser fan, I mean a yeah new condenser fan motor, and then the compressor uh, tanked out or something along those lines, and you knew that the condenser fan motor was good. So it may not be a bad idea to go ahead and harvest the parts off of the old unit, which are usable if they're not too old. And another tipster here, get a pen, something along this line. Put your information on here, write it on here. For instance, your horsepower, this one's a 112, RPM 1100, cap size 5, and designate this on here onto the condenser fan motor. So when one goes back, say you have it in, perhaps you may need it for an exigent situation, or another individual may call you, and it may be a weekend or something, an emergency situation, extremely hot, and you try to work them in for a service call, and you say, well, the supply house is not open. So since the supply house is not open, you go through, you may have two or three extra motors and be able to use one particular motor for another situation. So, but you need to know if the tag is gone, and then also perhaps another positive thing would be go to your office supply store, get a piece of clear plastic. One has a stickum on one side, the other one it's like see-through, it's transparent. Put it over the top of this when you clearly label your motor. So therefore, if you have three motors sitting on the floor, you can perhaps pick one motor up and look and say, oh, okay, this motor here needs a 5 cap. It's an RPM of 1100, horsepower 1/12, or it could be a horsepower 1/10 or whatnot. But it, notwithstanding, one should be able to match this up and then quickly go out and do a change out for the customer. I hesitate to say the word quickly because that word is very tenuous in the industry, but you could at least go out and attempt to change the motor for the customer and perhaps save their day, or even for that matter, if one was the customer and one knew how to change this, they could perhaps change it if they had the skill set to do so. So again, just put your marks, get a pen, something like this that writes on here. And now if your label's clear, that's fine. Put the clear plastic over the label. But sometimes it's good to do both in case one gets worn out. So you're able to quickly identify what size your motor is before when in on the new system you may need to get the model number and serial number in order to reference it and see what the specs are on the requisite for the new motor. So for instance, if the new motor requires this particular specs, a Cat 5, 1100, 112. Hey, you've got this. You could actually pass the cost along. You could tell the customer. Another thing, you may want to put a date on here, and just about if you know approximately how old it is, the date should tell you. So you could convey to the customer, well, this is a used motor. Do you want to give me a few bucks for the used motor, and let's try to get her rocking and rolling today? Or if they want to wait and get a new motor, that's up to their discretion. So anyway, these are just a few tips that could save you a lot of grief. And oftentimes when Murphy's Law hits, it hits when it's a 90 plus degrees or 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's no standard. But anyway, if you could help a customer out, that would be great. So, hope this helps and have a wonderful day. Thank you.